Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to draw a realistic cat's eye in coloured pencils. So I'm actually going to be drawing both of their eyes for this tutorial. I'll be doing them sort of at the same time and drawing the similar things in both eyes at once. So you can do the same or you can just focus on the one eye. It's completely up to you. Just going to be talking you through like the different techniques and different colours that I use and sort of things to look out for really. So hopefully this will be useful for you, and let's get started. So obviously I've already drawn out the outline. I use the grid method for all of my portraits, so I've done that. So I'm just going to go in with my Faber-Castell putty eraser. You can use any eraser. I just like this one because it doesn't leave any like bits of dust. Make sure you're in focus. There we go. So I'm just going to very lightly erase some of the furthest outlines that I'm just going to be going over now. I like to get the overall shape of the eye in first before I go in and add all the details in the middle. So I just want to see it really lightly. And then in this corner here, I'm just going in with the Faber-Castell Cold Grey 4. So I can see it's a really light sort of blue, not light, dark blue I meant, bluey grey colour, just in the corner. I'm using like a medium to light pressure just to start off. And then I'm just going to do the same on the right eye, just in this corner, because I can see it's the same sort of colours. It's quite blue underneath here as well. So I'm just going to bring this grey down and around. It's quite hard for me, so when I'm drawing normally, like especially to get the sort of curves in, I like to move my paper around, like I'll turn the paper so that my hand flows more easily in like the curved direction. But obviously I don't want to do that while I'm filming, because otherwise you'll be all over the place. It would be very easy to follow along. So I'm going to use now Faber-Castell Dark Sepia pencil, just to go around the rest of the outline. As I can see, it's really dark, and it's more of a warm tone than right in the corners where it's quite blue. I hope my hand isn't in the way, sorry if it is. Just getting them a little bit at a time, making sure they're all in the right place. I'm not pressing too hard with this just yet. Okay, and I'll just do the same on this side. Sorry, my dog's here another dog outside barking, so he's deciding to woof back at it. As I'm recording this, he's actually sat on the same chair as me, sat right behind me. And no, there isn't space for him, but that's where he likes to be, so that's where he is. He's very clingy, but I can't say anything because I'd miss him if he wasn't there, so I just sort of move around him. He's very spoilt, but I think they have to be. It's like the rules. So later on we'll go back and like darken the outlines and everything, but for now I'm just going to leave it as that. So I'm going to get the shape of the pupil in then. I'm just going to go around sort of the very darkest bits, so like towards the bottoms, there, and there, and like around the top is quite dark, and just there. Go over those bits with the same dark sepia pencil. Again, I'm not pressing too hard because I want it all to blend together nicely later on. With this right eye, in the photo, there's no like bright white reflection. I am just going to add a little bit in, so I'm just going to do that to about there. Yeah, I just want them to sort of match. So obviously if you wanted to, you can draw it exactly the same as a reference photo. I'm just adding it in because, sorry, my voice went completely down. Sound like Darth Vader. These cats that I'm drawing, there's actually, if you can see, there's another cat there. And so this is Max, and then the other cat that I'm drawing is Theo. And in Theo's portrait, both of his eyes have got their like bright white reflection in as well, so I feel like it would just look a bit strange if just one of Max's eyes didn't have it. I don't know, but that's what I'm doing anyway. With the reflections, it is important that you just leave them like so that there's no colour in them at all, so it's just like the paper coming through. Also you can add colour to them later. I like to leave them till the very end so that I can see sort of like what the contrast is like and see if I need to add more then or not. But for now, I just want to leave them bright white. Okay, I'm going to use that cold grey 4 again, just to go around some of the lighter parts of the people. Going around the reflection there. It's good we've got a really good quality reference photo to work from here, because you can see all the different reflections in the pupil, like all the different shapes. I find that makes the portraits look a lot more realistic if you've got like the different shapes in the pupil. I like sometimes when you can see like the person taking the photo in the reflection. I love that. I just think it's so cute. Like when you're drawing these portraits and like for customers, they've got like a little part of themselves in the portrait as well. It's just really cute. Just like it sort of shows the bond that they've got with their animals. I just think it's absolutely adorable. Just used a really light pressure doing this to start with, so that I can blend it all together later. I'm gonna use now, I can see there's like really warm grey colour, so I'm gonna use warm grey 2. I think this is, it's all worn off, the writing has, but I'm pretty sure it's warm grey 2. I'm just using again really light pressure, just in small like circular strokes, just to sort of blend this together. It all helps later on when you just build it up really slowly. Okay, I think now probably start with some of the colour. So, couldn't find my eraser then. Just gonna erase the grid lines that I've done firstly, because I obviously don't want those showing in the final drawing. Trying to think where to start now. So you just want to start with like the lightest colour that you can see, colour that in, and then build up from there. So I think I'm going to use this. It's a Caran d'Ache Luminance Pencil Silver Grey. It's really light, really light blue essentially. So I'm just going to use that like around the edge of the eye, like all around here. It's light and then gets darker as you go into the middle. So I'm just going to do the same as we did in the pupil and just use really small light pressure, just circular strokes with your pencil. And I'm just going to blend those into the middle. I love drawing cats' eyes. Like, they're so different to dogs. So I've already done a realistic dog eye tutorial. So I thought I'd do a cat one as well, because they are so different. Obviously all like the sort of techniques and everything are kind of the same. But cat's eyes are like just a completely different shape. Like they're always quite, they're a lot wider, I think, than the dog's eyes. They're always so brightly coloured as well. Like most dogs' eyes are brown. Also you get like the huskies with the super bright blue, which is gorgeous, and some border collies and things. But most of the time their eyes are brown. And then cat's eyes, you get so many different like bright colours. You get like the blue, the green. It's all so different. So around here, I just sort of coloured around like the darkest bits that are right in the corners. No, worry about those later. And same up the top where the shadow is. I'm just leaving that as well. So I'm just going to do the same on this side. Find the circular strokes with your pencil just helps to blend it all together a bit nicer. Like you don't really want to be colouring the eyes in like lines, like shading like that, because you'll end up seeing those pencil strokes in the final drawing, and obviously there's no like lines in the eye really. So by doing the little circular strokes, they all blend together nicely, so it's just like one smooth eye. Don't really know what colours I'm gonna end up using for these. I picked out a few before I started, but I find that with coloured pencils you can pick out like loads of colours thinking that you're gonna use those, nothing else, no more, no less, and then you end up using like a handful of those and then just picking out so many more as you go in. You just end up seeing so many different colours. Okay, now that's coloured in. I've got like a nice base now. I'm just gonna get my colour swatches, so I've swatched like every colour pencil that I've got. So I'm just gonna look on the blue colours and see what sort of matches this. So we want to make from light to dark. So we just want to pick out the next sort of lightest colour that we can see. think I'm going to go with this Prismacolor Cloud Blue. Just going to use that for the edges. I'm doing exactly the same as I just did with the silver grey. It's just a bit of a brighter blue. It just help to start brightening up a bit. I don't have many Prismacolor pencils. They're just not my favourite. Like, all my pencils you can get to like quite a sharp point, whereas I always struggle with these ones because I find the lead always snaps. Like, so I try not to sharpen them, to be honest, until I've got like no nib left. And I never use them for like the details really anyway. It's always just to either like help blend like the base layer or just add a bit of different colour in the bottom. This is a good colour though, because I find with the Polychromos and the Luminance pencils, there isn't really like a really light blue. So this one's a good one for that. I might have a look at the Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils. I've got a few of those. They do quite like a different range to what you find in the Luminance and Polychromos pencils. I've got a few of those. Maybe they do a nice light blue. I'll have to have a look, and maybe I can use that instead of this one then, because it's not my favourite. Okay, I'm just going to use now Cold Grey 1 from Polychromos. Just around the edges, and I'm just going to blend that in. I'm using like a medium pressure now. I won't be drawing the eyes quite as bright as in the reference photo either, because the photo that I've got from the customer, he edited them a bit brighter, so I'm trying to do like sort of an in-between between this photo and like the photos that I've got of Theo, the other cat. They're still obviously going to be nice and bright, but so I'm just using this grey to make it a bit more, I don't know, a bit less bright blue. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does in my head. Okay, because we've got nice base layers in now, I'm gonna start going in with some of the darker colours. So first I'm gonna use Faber-Castell Sky Blue. I'm just gonna go around Sorry, I'm just looking at my reference photos a minute. I've got loads of different photos to work from, so it's really good. Obviously, I want it to be as realistic as possible for my customer because they trusted me to draw their cats, so it's very nice of them. So I'm using this one mostly in the darker areas. Just using tiny circular motions. Just going into the shadowed area as well now. I hope you can see it properly on the camera. It's quite bright in real life, but when I'm looking at my phone, it doesn't look very brightly coloured. So I'm leaving the very sort of edges on this side because they're quite white. Go over it all later and start blending it all together. Okay, I want to just go in now and fill in these little darker bits in the corner of his left eye. Can't find the pencil. Oh, okay. So I want to use the Payne's Grey 30% from the Caran d'Ache Luminance. It's like a grey blue sort of colour. It's going in very lightly to start with. Just map out the shapes. You don't have to be exact, but just try and get as accurate as possible. Okay, looks quite good. Just going to do the same. There's a few little bits just on this side. So I'm just going to use the same pencil and just blend those in slightly. When you're drawing, it's all about just looking for all the different little shapes that you can see. Just going to do the top here with this shadow. And do the same on this eye actually. Just a few. You can sort of see similar colours. So this drawing is on A4 paper, but obviously because I've got the two cats on there, they're still fairly small. Compared to the last drawing I did as well, which I filmed the dog eye tutorial for. That was just one dog, Charlie, on 12 by 16 inch paper, so that's around A3 size for reference. So the eyes on that one is huge. I always find it so weird after doing a really big portrait like that. Going back to any size really always just feels tiny. So we're just slowly building up the darker shades now and blending them all together. There's all these different lines and shapes. You can get some of the shadows in, but most of the details will go in last. Just going to do the same this side. I'm starting to get quite hungry. It's coming up to 1 o'clock. I never know what to have for lunch. It's just, I don't like thinking about it. I don't like making it. So I normally just end up having like a biscuit or a bar of chocolate or something. Because I'll just snack throughout the day anyway. Then I'll have my tea quite early and then I'll have more snacks later on. Okay, like that, starts coming together now. I think what we're going to do next is start filling in the pupils so we get an idea of how dark we can go with the blue. I'm just going to get my dark sepia pencil back and I'm going to go back around now the darkest bits around the bottom and map out the shapes inside. See, I'm using not like the tip like that. I'm using my pencil just on the side. Helps to blend it in slightly. I'm not using such a hard pressure as well. But I'm still holding the pencil quite low down because I want to be quite precise with where I'm putting these. You can see like once this darkest bit is in, it'll all start coming together then. I find with drawing it's very like, trust the process. Like you spend so long adding all the layers underneath and everything that it can look a little bit weird, and then you start adding all the details on top, and then all of a sudden it just comes together and it's like, oh, that's good. I feel like painting is probably the same. Like, I love watching painting videos on TikTok and seeing all like the underneath. I don't know if they call it a base layer as well, but I'll call it the base layers. Seeing all those underneath and it just looks insane. And then all of a sudden, like before you've even, well, you blink and you miss it really. It's turned into this like masterpiece, and I was like, how have you done that? Painting is like magic to me. But I guess with everything, it's like practice, isn't it? Like 4 years ago, I couldn't draw this, and now here I am. So maybe if I started painting now, in 4 years, I'd be able to paint something good. But I don't know. I love pencils. The fact that it's just not messy. It's nice and clean, nice and tidy. Got more control. My stomach's rumbling now, sorry if you can hear it. Oh my god. Hopefully you can't hear it. I don't want to stop recording just to get something to eat and then have to start again, so we'll just power through now. Just going really lightly over this shadowed bit now. Just getting some of those shapes in. I think I need to practice my tutorials. Sorry, I've just, like I told you that I was gonna finish the pupil and then I just ended up going everywhere else. I'm still learning, so bear with me. I hope it'll be useful. And if they're not useful, at least hopefully I can maybe keep you company while you're drawing as well. I'll be able to pick up some tips in the background. just picking out these shapes in their reflection. Obviously pressing harder with like where it's darker, and then using a lighter pressure, using a darker pressure, sorry. Oh, I can't speak. A harder pressure on the darker bits. That's what I was trying to say. It just didn't come out. Okay, I'm gonna leave that as that, and then just move over to do the same on this side. You can see already that's starting to look so much better than this one. It's starting to look a lot more realistic. It's sort of coming to life a bit more now. I did this drawing a bit different to what I normally do. So if you watched my dog eye tutorial, I think I probably mentioned in that one that I like to start every sort of animal portrait that I do with the eyes. So I said I like to start them with the eyes because they're just so important for the portrait, especially when it's a commission. You can tell it's like your pet just from the eyes. So if the eyes are slightly wrong, then I'd rather do them first, and then if I get them wrong, have to start again, then draw like the whole head of the animal, and then draw the eyes, mess them up, and then have to start all of that again. But it's a completely irrational fear, to be honest, because it's never happened. It's not usually anything I can't fix anyway. So I don't know why I still think like that, but it's scary. Oh, with this one, the reason I've done sort of the top of the head before doing the eyes is I feel more confident with the eyes than with the fur type, to be honest. I wasn't quite sure how like this bit was gonna go, because I haven't drawn that many cats. I've drawn, I think, 3 in coloured pencils and maybe 2 in graphite, and I think 3 in coloured pencils. Obviously, like, you know, like dogs, the fur type is, you know, different for all of them. I've just had a lot more practice with different types of dog fur that I'm a lot more confident with it now. Like, you know, I can go into sort of any dog drawing confident that I'm going to be able to get like a nice realistic drawing. And obviously I knew I'd be able to draw these cats, otherwise I wouldn't have taken on the commission. But it's not just a, you know, confidence thing, because I've like never really drawn this fur type before. It's quite daunting when you look at it, like the different colours blending together, and then all the like short fur. But you'll be pleased to know I managed to successfully draw it. I think I'm really happy with it, to be honest. So I'm going to finish these eyes and draw some like around it, and then I'll send an update to my client then and see what they think. Still haven't got to the exciting part yet of adding the bright blue colours. We'll get there, I promise. I don't know how long I've been recording for, hopefully not too long, but I like to take my time, especially, you know, doing something that I'm not really used to. And I'm going to use, if I can find it, so I'm going to go in with Warm Grey 3 now, so it's just ever so slightly darker than the 2 we used earlier. Just use a bit of a harder pressure and just start blending these together. Gone over the dark sepia as well, just to blend it all, and then we go back in with the darker colours after. Oh, I am hungry. Just going to change the shape of that reflection slightly. Seemed a bit too big. There we go. I'm going to use, I think, just this beige red from Polychromos, just lightly. You can see like some different colours in the reflection. I'm just going to add those in. So it won't make, I don't think it'll make a huge difference, but add it in anyway. I find it all helps. I'm just going to do the same as I'll add some purple in as well, so I'm using the purple violet from Polychromos just at the top there, just very lightly, on the sides here. Okay, so we are just going to start now with the brightest blue colours in the middle. So I'm using bluish turquoise from the Polychromos. I'm just going to use quite a light pressure to start with, because you can see, well, I hope you can see anyway. So it's not as bright on the camera as it is in real life, I don't think. But it's really, really pigmented colour. So you don't need much pressure at all, and you get a lot of colour on the paper. Just going to do that as like a base, and then I think maybe use the Payne's Grey 30% to add some of the details and blend it in a bit more. It's going to bring this colour into the shadow as well, so it all blends in nicely. Just doing exactly the same on this side, so I'm bringing it into the shadow at the top, so it all blends in, and then just shading in all the different shapes. I might film a tutorial as well on how to do this type of fur, maybe on Theo's portrait, because the cats they're the same. I think they're Siamese cats, but I'm not 100%, I'll have to ask. But they're both the same anyway. So obviously I've just learned how to do it here, so I'll teach you with Theo's portrait. I did actually look on YouTube, so I'm completely self-taught with everything I've done, obviously with the odd YouTube video. So I looked on YouTube before I started to see if there was anything, and there was no like proper like cat for real time tutorial, so it talks you through everything that they're doing. So maybe I'll make them for you. Hopefully it'll be useful for people. Okay, I think I might go back in now the lightest colour that we started with, which was the silver grey, and just use that to sort of blend the edges with the parts in the middle, blend those together nicely. Using a bit of a harder pressure now, because I just want to get rid of the tooth of the paper that is showing through. I'm just going over everywhere now to blend it all together. Same on this side. So obviously like the eyes are super smooth and shiny, they're like glass, like they're really just smooth and reflective. We want to capture that with our drawing. So by doing this, it's called burnishing. You can probably search up a few videos on it. It's not something that I sort of do, like it's not a technique that I do very often. But it's quite good here for making things look really smooth. It's funny because this cat is quite angry, and I feel like you can start to see it now that he's got like an angry little face. I just think it's so cute. Going in now, back with the Payne's Grey 30%, like I said, just to refine some of these details. As the final layer then, I think I might go in with the Polychromos Payne's Grey, or maybe Dark Indigo, just to add the finer details, because the luminance pencils are wax based, so they're quite blendable and soft, whereas Polychromos pencils are really good for small details. They're I want to say oil based, I think that's right. Don't quote me on it, but essentially they're a bit of a harder pencil. I think this video is going to be super long, sorry. Maybe I should have just done one eye at a time for you. I'm going to use the Coldgrave 3 just to go over these bits again, because we've only had the one layer of Payne's Grey on there, so we want to make these smooth as well. Definitely should have drawn just one, sorry, this is going to be like over an hour long. At least it gives you plenty of time to, you know, do what I'm doing. Won't feel like you're rushing, especially if you just do like one eye. You can maybe like watch what I do for the left eye, and then while I'm working on the right eye, you've got time to draw on yours before I move on to the next stage. Okay, I'm using the dark sepia now, and I'm gonna finish off the pupils finally. Just blending these in nicely. I like to build it up slowly, like bit by bit, because I think if I'd gone in like straight away with the pupil being like really dark, it would have just thrown me off a bit. So it's nice to just build the layers up slowly. You can see like how dark you need to go, how light you need to go, and just do it that way. Obviously different people wig in different ways, but that's just how I wig. Maybe that's why it takes me a bit longer, but you'll get to the same result in the end. I'm just going to use the dark indigo from the Polychromos, like I said, and just add the final details. Drawing all the little shapes on top. Once you've added these last details in, then you're pretty much done. Don't really want to like blend it anymore, so it'll just end up all like smudgy and not right. You want to make sure all your base is nice and smooth and you've got all the colours in that you want before adding these final details. I was going to draw a bit of the fur like around the eye and like, you know, finish off this little bit, but I've been rambling on for so long now that I think it's not that important. And as I said, I might do a tutorial on this type of here. So if you want to see that, let me know. There we go, I think we're pretty much done. Can go on forever just adding like final little tweaks to it, but that's more or less finished now. So I'll leave that there, I think, because I say I've rambled on for so long now, but hopefully it's been helpful for you. If you have got any questions or anything, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to help. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope it's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Bye.